Hello, hockey fans. The hardcore puckhead here with the look at the playoff picture at the moment. The first Sunday of the month of March just came and went. Some crazy action to kick off this month. Like I said, I love March. It's that last month before the playoffs start, the last month of the season, and things are getting very interesting. For one, in the East, the wild card races are still tight. Toronto just can't seem to pass the Islanders, but it's a long month. Today's only the 6th, so They got a long ways to go. Toronto still has a good outside shot. The Blue Jackets continue to kind of struggle. Remember, they won 16 games straight. Now they're kind of trading wins and losses. They lost to Ottawa this past Saturday, 3-2. So even with that struggle, they are still in second place in the Metropolitan Division entry today. However, they are tied in points, and I think more regulation overtime wins. I think that seems to be the difference. The thing that puts them ahead of Pittsburgh. The defending Stanley Cup champions are also knocking on the door of the division lead. If the season ended at this point, we'd be looking at a first round series between the Jackets and Pittsburgh, which is a rematch of the last time the Jackets made the playoffs. Of course, this time Columbus would have the home ice, so that would make things interesting, And as for the Atlantic, Montreal still has a lead in the Atlantic Division over the Ottawa Senators. It's a pretty close race in the Atlantic. I'll have the standings up on my app in a moment, but it's pretty intense. Boom. Here they are. The standings on this app, this great NHL app. It's amazing. And as it shows, the Rangers and Islanders hold the wild card spots. The Rangers are way ahead of the Islanders. They're 13 points ahead of their counterparts in Brooklyn. With the New York teams as wild cards, that means one of them, if it still stands, one of them will cross over to the Atlantic half of the Eastern Conference playoffs, which means possibly an all New York East final. Now that should be good if it happens. But yeah, Washington still has the league's best record at 95 points. So we all know about Washington. They do well in the regular season. It's beyond that. That's the problem. Are they finally going to get over the hump? Is Ovechkin finally going to get to play for the Prince of Wales Trophy and later the Cup? We'll know in a matter of months, or weeks, I should say. But the West has the Ducks are kind of falling off. The Ducks lost 2-1 out here to the Vancouver Canucks. So Anaheim finds themselves in third place in the Pacific. 2 points behind Edmonton, and they will be facing going to Edmonton to start the playoffs at this point. But and even worse, they are tied for third place with Calgary. So it's not looking good for the Ducks. I'm not saying they're going to miss out, but if they're not careful, they're going to end up being a wild card and going to either San Jose, Minnesota, or possibly Chicago in the first round. It's a close one. It's a 1 point separation between Minnesota and Chicago in the Central, with the Wild holding the 90-89 lead. Nobody has clinched a playoff spot yet. This isn't like the NBA where 2 spots are clinched already, and it's not even St. Patty's Day. It's not even daylight savings time weekend yet. But 2 spots in the NBA are clinched. But that's them. That's the no parity league. This is the NHL where everything and anything happens. And as far as the wild cards, St. Louis holds that last spot, but the Kings are knocking on the door. And pretty close. It's pretty crowded in the East. Pretty much everybody has a shot in the Eastern Conference still, even with 34 days left of the season starting today. I said nobody has clinched yet, but when the first team clinches, I will congratulate that team on in a future video. Team or teams. It could be two teams getting the first two spots together. But anyway, tonight begins a new week. Washington has the Dallas Stars tonight. Rangers have Tampa. Boston is Ottawa. That should be a very interesting game considering. It's 2 points separating Ottawa and Boston, who are second and third respectively in the division, and so this is a pivotal game if they have to face each other in the first round, the Atlantic semifinals, because that's for home ice. Second place in the division means home ice in round one. So we're looking at some key games upcoming here. Detroit Toronto play each other tomorrow, and Toronto needs to start winning, and hopefully the Islanders kind of slip on some banana peels and fall off. Islanders have the Oilers tomorrow, so the way the Oilers been playing, I don't know. Toronto might pass them tomorrow. Detroit is in danger of missing the playoffs for the first time since in over a quarter century. Can you imagine that? A Stanley Cup playoffs without the Avalanche and Red Wings. That has never happened. But that could be a reality this year. And so that's pretty much the story so far. Like I said, the Kings are knocking on the playoff door. So are the Jets. I don't know, between those two, I don't know who I want to get in more, the Kings or the Jets. But I have a soft spot for some Canadian teams. I have a soft spot for some Canadian teams. And the Jets are, of course, I like to see Winnipeg because of Jericho. And it would be something the Jets somehow pass the Kings and the Blues and sneak into that last spot. What they need to do, if they get in, they need to win a damn playoff game. In the history of the Thrashers / Jets 2.0, they've only been in the playoffs twice, and both times they were swept. So something has to give. Something's got to change if Winnipeg gets in. It's a very close race. They're 3 points out with 34 days left. 3 points is nothing. A team can make that up in just a few days, just like that. So that's pretty much the story so far. All thanks to this nice app. And so yeah, so that's pretty much the story. Maple Leafs and Wings tomorrow, but Boston Ottawa tonight. That's an important game for positioning, and plus both teams kind of have a shot at catching Montreal. Ottawa a bit more than Boston, but I don't know. But it should be very fruitful. So, with that is my review of the first week in March. Well, my first playoff review. I may be back for congratulatory videos sometime this week. Who knows? Somebody might clinch a playoff spot this week. But if not, I'll be back next Sunday or next Monday with a recap of this week, of everything that's happened this week, and the races entering next Monday. So with that, I say good day, hockey fans.